Hi everyone! In this video, we will use the empirical rule for normal distributions to estimate probability. A normal distribution is observed from the number of goals per game for a soccer player. The mean is 0.8 goals and the standard deviation is 0.2 goals. Using the empirical rule, what is the probability that in a randomly selected game, the player scored between 0.4 and 1.2 goals? The first thing we can do is identify what we've been given. We were told that the mean is 0.8 goals, and so we can write this as mu equals 0.8. We were also told the standard deviation is 0.2, so we can write that with our sigma of 0.2. We also know that we will be using the empirical rule. We were told that the observation of the goals for this soccer player are normally distributed. A normal distribution curve is a beautiful bell curve that comes around like this. It's symmetric, even if mine isn't, and right down the middle is where I can fold it and have it be exactly symmetric. It is also where the mean or the mu falls, and because this is normally distributed, we have 1, 2, 3 standard deviations above, and because we're symmetric, we also have 3 standard deviations below where most of the data will fall. Let's go ahead and fill it in with the numbers that we have. We were told that the mean or the mu is 0.8, so we can write this in as 0.8. This is 1 standard deviation above, this is 2 standard deviations above, and this is 3 standard deviations above. Knowing that, we can add 0.2 to our 0.8, making our first standard deviation above number 0.2 plus 0.8 gives us 1.0. Adding another standard deviation of 0.2, we get 1.2, and adding it one more time for 3 standard deviations above, 1.2 plus 0.2 is 1.4. Going to the left of the mean, it's the same thing. We will subtract 1 standard deviation, subtract 2 standard deviations, and subtract 3 standard deviations. Mu, or 0.8, minus the standard deviation 0.2 gives us 0.6, or 0.6. Subtracting 1 more of 0.2 gives us 0.4. And subtracting it one more time gives us 0.2. Now that we've filled out our normal curve, let's go ahead and fill out what we know about the empirical rule. The empirical rule is a rule of thumb that tells us that 68% of the data, approximately 68% of the data, falls between 1 standard deviation of the mean. And within 2 standard deviations of the mean, approximately 95% of the data falls, and within 3 standard deviations of the mean, 99.7% of the data will fall. We were asked to find that in a randomly selected game, the player scores between 0.4 and 1.2. This is 0.4 here, and it encompasses clear up to 1.2. So all of this in between those two scores and the area underneath the curve is a great way to estimate the probability of the numbers that we're looking at. So between 0.4 and 1.2, we have 95% of the data, 95%. And this can be written as the decimal point 0.95. This is our estimate for the probability that this soccer player scores between 0.4 and 1.2 goals. And now we're all done.